Hello and welcome to the Big 12 Mafia Show. I'm your host, Nathan Bomber Brown. With me are my key contributors. That would be Immaculate View and Moen. Sports, how you guys doing tonight?
Very good. Happy
Doing good,
Friday
Nate.
night.
Awesome. Happy early Friday. Yeah, we're gonna make this one of our scheduled shows. So everybody knows we have a few scheduled shows every week, and we're gonna do a Friday pick'em show. We're going to do a Monday review show of the previous week. And then in between, we will have ad hoc Big 12 Mafia shows that basically cover the news of the day and catch everybody up. We know this is a little bit early tonight, but we hope that we're going to get a few people to come in and we'll talk some football, maybe review a little bit of news, and go from there. So, first of all, let me start off with the general rule, not rules, but notifications to everybody. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Feel free to leave a regular comment in the comment section. If you are really want to make sure your comment is read, you can make it a super chat, or you could become one of our more really valued members. Let me quickly show everybody what the membership site looks like. So everybody can understand how complex it is to try to find. It's a pain in the butt. YouTube doesn't give you a chance to really review these things. They can't be edited or anything like that. So I'll just start with this. So if you want to join the channel, become a paid member, hit the join button, and then there's 3 membership options: contributor, subscriber, and founder. I'm going to change the names of those. But I can't remember which selection to do it on the web page. So once I remember how I made the initial ones, I'm going to go back and I'm going to rename a couple of them to be more mafia-esque. Anyways, and then you just hit the join button, fill out the information to sign up, and you'll be one of us. And we have growing ranks. So I really appreciate everybody who has joined up to now. And I need to tell everybody that's currently a founder, I've ordered some rally towels. They will be coming in. I ordered them last Friday, Saturday. So they said 2.5 to 3 weeks. So please send me, DM me your address. And that way I can get that sent out to you as soon as I get them in. I'm really anxious to get that done because they're really cool and I think you guys will like them. Anyway. All right, let's go ahead and begin. Let's jump in. Let's give some shout outs for whoever's here today, early on a Friday evening. We've got Nathan Campbell and Jim F. Hey, guys, good to see you. I'm hoping you're able to catch on with us and help us pick some football games here in just a minute or two and help make sure that we're staying on task, because picking these games is not the easiest thing in the world. At least it isn't for me. Anyway, so the first thing I want to start with is we're going to go right to news, because Wild Ute's not here and I want to have him here when we do the pick 'em. So we're going to jump in and we're going to talk about the lawsuit that Oregon State and Washington State has placed against the Pac-12. And before I review Ross Schellinger's article, Immaculate, you want to kind of tell everybody where that's at and why they're doing it?
Well, in terms of the situation going on in the Pac, it would appear that they want to remove the ability for the departing members to take part in any votes currently going on in the Pac, that all positions should be held by Washington State and Oregon State, as every other school has in some way or shape, form, declared publicly their intent to leave. Now, it does not appear that they have delivered official notification to the conference of their intent to leave, and that is why it would seem that those schools are actually moving to remove the ability for Kliavkov to hold any business. So he's kind of being ousted by this if this goes through.
Right. And the purpose of, let's just talk about why anybody would want to challenge any of these court cases or try to take control of the conference. The reason is because the conference is sitting on assets. There's NC2A basketball credits that are still needed to be divvied out. And if you've left the conference, you're not supposed to have access to those. Those pay out over a period of years. So that's millions of dollars. There's the assets in Pac-12 networks, the TV deal.
Yep.
And those assets have to be distributed, whether they sell them, reuse them in the new conference that they're going to be in, whatever. There's money in that stuff. And then lastly, there's all the money that would come if they make a deep run into the playoff this year, which is ironic because any of the schools that would make the playoff this year, one or two, if they really hold out throughout the end of the year, they would lose and they would go to whoever's left. So it'd be ironic if, say, Utah went to the playoff this year and then left for the Big 12 next year. They would not get any of that money. The conference money would go back in the kitty and would be left to whoever's basically still in the conference. And if they end up bringing in schools, they wouldn't be able to get that money either. It would go to the ones that the original members, just like the hateful remaining eight from the Big 12 got the money from the separation of Oklahoma and Texas. That money did not go to the new 4 schools. So that's the reason why that's important. Yep. And I really want to make sure everybody's clear about that. All right, let's jump. Moen, by the way, did you want to add anything to that?
No, I'll wait till you pull up the article because I want to get that text on the screen so you can.
Okay. Let's do that right now. So go ahead if you want to start here.
Okay. According to the Pac-12 Constitution and bylaws, if a member school gives notice of withdrawal, they automatically cease to be a member of the Pac-12 Board of Directors. Therefore, Washington State now constitute the entire membership of the Pac-12 Board of Directors. This is going to be a sticking point. What is an official notice of withdrawal?
Okay, keep going.
That's pretty much it. The other schools are going to say that is not a notice of withdrawal. That's a notice of intent.
Right.
Intent. This is going back to the San Diego State Mountain West situation. There's intent, and then there's action. Oregon and Washington can say we intend to leave the Pac for the Big Ten, but they have not officially withdrawn from the Pac-12. The same is true of every other school. They're going based off of the precedent that was set by USC and UCLA having their votes taken away, which I don't believe that's going to – any court is going to find in their favor. They filed this in Washington, in a particular district in Washington. They're hoping to get the best ruling possible based on the location, but unfortunately the actual law would end up being in California, where the Pac is actually located as a conference, where their offices are. So this would all be resolved within the state of California, and I think California would probably side with the 10 members that are leaving.
So another piece of this is there was a conversation that was held August 6th, 7th, and 8th. And over that time period, somebody from the leaving Pac-12 schools made a comment that said we should rush in, hold a board meeting, and disband the conference because they would have had a majority of the votes. The purpose of that would have meant that it would disperse whatever was left in the conference, and Oregon State and Washington State would have been screwed. They only had 2 votes. They couldn't have stopped that if somebody could have put 9 votes in a room to actually disband the conference. It would have been a crap move. It would have been extremely evil to do that, but they could have done it, and it would have been really, really crazy. And it came up again the first week of September. There was another conversation. Now, these aren't board meetings, but they're just conversations people are having in email, believe it or not, which seems crazy, that actually said, hey, if we hurry and do this was after Stanford and Cal had found a home. They said, if we really do this, we can get those assets out, and there's nothing anybody else can do about it.
One thing on this real quickly, if I could. If what is true is that USC, UCLA, and Colorado already had this done to them by all the rest of the schools at some point, then that means haven't they given tacit approval of this measure. If Oregon, Washington, Stanford, California, Arizona State, and Utah were all part of that and all were okay with that, then does that not give? And I saw this from someone on X already. Does that not give some type of precedent to this already? That what do you think about that, Mo?
Well, I think you got to remember those schools didn't challenge it either. There was no challenge. So you could say, well, they said this, that they're taking away their votes, but those schools didn't really challenge yet.
Right,
USC and UCLA can come back, and Colorado can still come back and challenge that and say, no, that's not correct. And the other schools could just as easily say, well, we were wrong in doing that. So now we have our 10, and we're voting to dissolve the conference. I think the problem was everybody was waiting for Stanford and Cal. They weren't going to do it to Stanford and Cal if they were going to rebuild the conference.
Right.
But here's my point, though, is that the whether or not UCLA, USC, and Colorado challenged it or not, it's not really what I'm questioning. It's that in order to actually do the action to them, there would have had to have been a vote.
Yes, they needed 9. They needed, and
so
9
those
votes.
Schools voted to do that. So they're in essence kind of approving that as a measure. And so if it's now being used against them, and they say, well, that's not right or whatever. Well, it's kind of like, but you already set the precedent by doing it to Colorado, USC, and UCLA.
Right, but I mean, yes, you can set a precedent, but you can't they can't set a legal precedent. If USC, UCLA, and Colorado challenged it in the courts, they could get their votes back.
Maybe. I mean, I see what you're saying.
Depending on when
But I'm not looking for legal. Like the legal precedent would be set by the court. I'm just saying this would give the court maybe reason to look at and say, well, these schools approved of this type of a measure when it worked in their favor, right. But now that it's working against them, it's not.
No, you're absolutely right. But then again, the court could say, but they didn't have the power to do that.
Possibly,
which is just going to completely wipe it out. But
that's what happens when you go to court is you don't know for sure how the court's going to go. You just think you have a strong argument. And I see their argument in this case.
Right. And it's going to be a communal asset argument, which is why it's going to hit California, and they're basically going to divvy everything up. I think Oregon State and Washington State may walk away with the PAC name and the PAC history. But as far as all the money, that's going to get divvied up. That's going to get divvied up in an even matter for all teams that are in the Pac-12. So,
yeah, I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's true.
Well, if it goes through California, they have communal assets. So
yeah, but if they filed in Washington
doesn't matter.
It
doesn't matter. The PAC is in California,
but it's not a federal. It's not a federal thing. They're filing under protections for Washington.
No, they're requesting. What they're requesting is a restraining order in Washington
to stop them from having a vote.
From having a vote in California,
but that doesn't exnay the ability of them filing in Washington.
You can file wherever you want to, but the assets are located. The assets are located in California.
I've read differing news. I've heard that it's possible they could do something. I've also heard what you've said, which is if they file whatever they want to do with a company is fine, but it's going to come under California law. So I don't know. I think it's ambiguous, but.
Well, I think it's a lot just like the ACC, where there's nobody's found anything that says what the dissolution number is. So it defaults to North Carolina law, which is where the ACC is based in the state of North Carolina, which says simple majority.
So this is something that we're going to be tracking in the coming weeks and months. It's not going to be a short-term thing. This is going to be in the news for a while.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see because they'll have to give them an answer. I think by Monday is when
the court for the injunction
injunction to restrain it. Because if that doesn't go through Wednesday, they can hold that vote, and this could all be over.
Right. Let's get to a couple comments here. By the way, if you want your comment to be guaranteed read, but make it a super chat, or you can join the channel as a paid member. And I always defer to paid member comments before any others, just so everybody knows. It's a lot cheaper than doing super chats if you just join the channel for a month. Anyway, Nathan Campbell says, how many Pac-12 credits for each school? How much did the schools pay into the network to get it going? And would Oregon State and Washington State be the only schools getting that money? I think we've addressed a little bit. I actually don't know what the current credit value is today. I don't remember seeing any numbers. Do you guys know?
I think I've seen upwards of like 50 to 100 million, but I don't know for sure. And like he was saying, like those are still technically going to come in based upon this year as well.
Right. Well,
So-
and the playoff. Absolutely. Tony Lawson says, hi, Boomer. It's Bomber, Tony. Bomber. Got some Big 12 versus Big 10 action this weekend. We're going to run down our pick 'em tonight. We might get to some extras. We've picked 5 games. We talked about that on Twitter. Or no, we haven't published it on Twitter. We will publish it on Twitter. In fact, why don't you do that right now? Can one of you guys take that message that you sent in DM, see if there's anything that needs to be cleaned up, and send it out so everybody knows what we're going to be reviewing? Can one of you do that for me?
Let's see.
Anyway, Big 12 versus Big 10 action. There's Big 12 and Pac-10 action. I believe isn't there an ACC game? Anyway, there's a bunch. And we're really happy that we're going to be able to talk about football much better than this politics crap. Let's see. Let's get down here. Kendon says, Kendon's one of our paid members. They couldn't have gotten 10 votes unless they decided to include UCLA and or USC after they've already eliminated them from meetings. It wasn't 10. They only needed 9. So it's 75% is the number, and it's 9 out of 12 because USC and UCLA have not left yet. So anyway, that's just a heads up. Big 12 to get to 9 with the current 10 schools. OSU or Wazoo would need to vote against themselves. Oh, sorry. Yep, we're talking about that. I have, and let's, before I get to any more comments, what do you guys think about there's been no noise behind Washington State and Oregon State? I'm actually disappointed to the Big 12. Does that surprise you guys?
No. No, actually it doesn't at all. I think if there's any talk about that, they're going to keep that as quiet as possible. So it doesn't mean that it's not being talked about behind the scenes about maybe to solve this whole situation.
I think that's fair.
So I think that would just come up kind of out of the blue, so to speak.
Kendon says, I think you're wrong. I think he's talking about me in the 9 versus 10. You can definitely check me, Kendon. If you find out I'm wrong, give me the link so I can correct myself, and then I definitely will do a mea culpa. I don't mind admitting when I get stuff wrong. That's what you're going to get here. You're not going to get on some other more flashy shows. Harry Austin says, disagree. The assets are in more than one state. The issue is who is on the board. If it's just OSU and Wazoo, good luck. It all goes to what's in the contract. I think I read a line from the contract, and it said, once you leave the conference, you leave the conference, and
right.
you don't have any control.
Intent and action.
Right.
Washington and Oregon said they intend to leave the Pac-12 to join the Big 10.
Right.
Did they file formal action to withdraw from the Pac-12?
And some people have said just the idea of accepting an invitation from somebody else immediately takes you out. We don't know that. That's going to have to be sorted out in a court of law. But that's definitely something that's out there. Another comment from Kendon, who's one of our members, by the way. All schools that have left the Pac would have signed contracts to enter their new conferences. In my eyes, they've never formally announced they're leaving or in breach of the Pac contract. In my eyes, they've either formally announced. Okay, I wanted to get that right. So we'll have to see. Maybe just scroll down. We got Sergeant Pickles in the house. Good to see you, Sergeant Pickles. Let me do a quick interrupt here. I want to thank everybody for joining on a Friday night. I know it's a tough night, but we didn't get together to review this news, even though this lawsuit, we've seen it coming, so we're not surprised by it. But we really want to go through our weekend pick'ems and ask you guys what you think, whether we're up in the night or not with the games we pick. And then one more comment from Kendon, and then I'll do one last thing on this article from Ross Dellinger. He says, after we start suing conferences and individual schools, we won't be invited anywhere. But that's Oregon State. I was saying Moen is wrong about Wazoo and OSU losing rights to the Pac.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, we will definitely see that. Yep. All right. So there was a couple of things I wanted to touch on this article, which, by the way, this Ross Dellinger article, tip top. I know there's a lot out there, different people writing different things. This was the finest one that I could find. It's this third paragraph. It says Oregon State and Washington State brought this action. Can I highlight it? No, I can't. Brought this action against the conference and Pac-12 commissioner in the state of Washington, requesting the temporary restraining order. The filing seeks to prevent the Pac-12 from permitting the departing members of the Pac-12 board of directors from meeting and attempting to take any action regarding the status or governance of the conference in ways that preclude OSU and WSU from potentially rebuilding the conference. The universities will be pursuing a declaratory, that's a hard word, declaratory judgment from the court confirming OSU and Wazoo as the sole remaining voting members of the Pac-12 Board of Directors, according to today's filing. Because of the interstate issues that Moen has brought up, this could easily end up in federal court because of antitrust issues and things going across state lines. So these are the type of contracts that just go forever, to be honest.
Just to clarify on this, I think we're going a little too far on this. All this is for the temporary restraining order.
Right.
So he's like, I think Moen might be right then, is that for the rest of that, they'd have to go into California. But this is just seeking that temporary restraining order from the court in
They're
Washington.
looking for relief, stopping them from putting a meeting together and breaking the thing up. That's what they're trying to stop.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think that's a very important clarification to make, because people, including myself, maybe we're kind of going a little far in this. They're just looking to get more time.
Let's get some clapping in here. We have a member to the channel. Really appreciate it, Harry. Let me go back and we'll turn this clapping off. I give you a personal clap. You can't see me, but I did personally clap. Well, thank you for joining the channel, Harry. You're going to love it. All of your comments are preferred, and we have a great community. And so I really appreciate you joining. It's going to be a good few months. If you want to get one of those rally towels, sign up for the 1 month of premium, the $9.99, and then send me your address once you do that, and I'll send it out to you. I need it to be in that higher one so I can cover my shipping. Anyway, I really appreciate you becoming a member. You've been around a long time, and it means a lot to me. I don't let that stuff slip by. All right. So is there anything else on this article you guys wanted to get to before we move to the next thing?
Just want to give everybody a quick score update. Kansas 7-0 over the Illini.
Okay. I hope Kansas
scored a
wins.
touchdown.
That's a game. What do you guys think about that game?
I was actually very interested. I think it's a good test to see where Kansas is coming, like where they're at. Also, kind of a good test to see where Illinois is at, because a lot of talk about both teams, and we don't really know. So,
absolutely. Okay, so I'm going to ask either Moen or Immaculate to do some jotting down of our picks. When you guys want to volunteer, grab a piece of paper, and we're going to pick these. There looks to me like there's 6 games we're going to pick, And I just want to be able to create a spreadsheet so we can look back later and find out how right or wrong we are on these Friday evening picks, which we're going to start doing all the time. Last time before I let this go, Harry Austin, again, a new member. Thank you so much, Harry. I really, really appreciate it. All right, let me get to the next thing here. Now we're going to talk, and you'll be here eventually. We can always get his caught up. Let me take this banner off of here. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to be picking 6 games. It's going to be UAU at Baylor. We're going to leave that for last in case the Wild Ute will get here. Texas, Alabama, Oregon at Texas Tech, Nebraska at Colorado, Texas A&M at Miami. That's probably one of the more interesting matchups. And then SUU at BYU.
Could I add one to the list?
Sure. If you're keeping, as long as you're keeping track.
I got paperwork here.
Yeah. Okay.
Arizona State versus Oklahoma State as a future Big 12 matchup.
I'm okay with that. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. Yeah, not a problem. Really quick, before we start doing these picks, we want to involve you guys. There's 17 of you in here live, which is pretty good on a Friday evening. If you want to be a part of these picks, we're not going to write down each individual name, but we can keep track of people just raw votes and see where we end up in the at the end of the day. Actually, that'll be too complex. What we'll do is we'll talk about your picks. So as we go through these, we'll talk about your picks. If you guys want to make them, just put your comments in the comment section, and we will talk about those as we go through them. Mike Smith is in the house. Good to see you, Mike Smith. All right, here we go. So let's start with Texas, Alabama. That one's probably the most chalk matchup. It's a straight up pick. People are looking to really look for changes. A few I'll call out is, will Cam Ewers stay healthy? He got hurt last year. Will they be able to? Are they going to get the homer calls that Alabama received last year? It was in Austin, and yet all the calls went against Texas. That was extraordinary. Will they have a little bit better play calling? I think down the stretch, they probably could have put the game away if they could have put a long drive together. And at one point, they scored really early to give the ball back to Alabama. I think that's something that might make a difference. And then last but not least is the importance of the schools. These are both blue buds. They matter a lot to the world of college football. And so I imagine you guys are going to have a lot of opinions about them. So first, let's go through let's do comments first. If you guys want to pick your games, I haven't seen any yet. Oh, let's see here. Mike Smith says, Bama going to smack Texas back to reality. I like that.
Are we picking against the spread? Do you guys need the spread on that?
You're welcome to, go ahead and give it to us.
The spread is 7.
Okay.
Alabama favored by 7.
So we're doing against, we will have to do it kind of the same way if we're going to do against the spread or not.
I'd like to just pick.
Just do a straight pick 'em.
But it's up to you guys. We can do it.
I'm good either way, just as long as we all pick the same. Otherwise, it gets complicated to write down.
Yeah, no.
Right.
What do you think, Mullen?
I'm picking against the spread because I'm a degenerate gambler.
Okay. All right, let's do that. Yeah,
I can do a spread.
Let's do spread. Yeah, that'll be good. And then next Friday, maybe we change it again.
I'm taking Bama. I think they'll win by more than a touchdown. So
is it 6 points, 6.5?
It's 7. It's 7 even. So
it's a full
Bama
7.
would have to win by 8.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Who are you going with, Nate?
Oh my goodness. I don't know. That scares me.
It's sounding a change in you sounded Bama, and now you sound like you're not quite sure.
Well, 7 points is a lot. 6.5 even would have told me that the bettors were thinking it was going to be more even game. I have to go chalk and pick. I have to pick Alabama against the spread.
Yeah, that spread doesn't worry me at all.
Okay, so you're taking Alabama?
Yeah, it's in Bama. It's there. I just don't think that Texas is going to come in there. I think that Alabama's quarterback could be just as good, if not better, than what we've seen out of Texas.
Really?
That's surprising and shocking.
Now, is he the transfer from Notre Dame?
I don't remember. I don't know where he's from. I honestly haven't heard of his name before this. But
Okay.
From what we saw, he's very athletic.
Didn't a Notre Dame guy go there, Moen?
Yeah.
He didn't. That guy didn't get the spot though.
He didn't get the spot, but he went there.
Oh,
Butcher, Buckner.
Yeah,
I forget
Buchner or whatever it is, and
Okay.
his offensive coordinator went there too. So this guy getting in ahead of him, it's pretty considerable. He's pretty good for doing that. So, yeah, to me, I think they're going to win by at least 14, if not more than that. I don't think this is going to be that close.
Let's get a few in here. Nathan Campbell says Bama 50, Texas 38. Wow.
All right. Well, he would take Bama.
Jiminy Chris.
That would be a hell of an over.
That's one hell of a high-scoring game. I'd say if Texas gets that many in Bama, that's
Right.
kind of impressive.
The over-under is 53.5. So,
Yeah.
Wow.
He's well over.
Jim F says Bama.
Ooh.
ESPN is just hyping Texas.
Harry says Texas.
Tony Lawson says I like Alabama. Jim
Harry
F, I
Austin.
think, is agreeing with Alabama.
So Harry looks like the only one that wants Texas, but that's with the San Antonio flair right there. That's not a shocker.
Harry coming strong with his first member post.
Right.
I love it. Let's see. There was one more I wanted to get here. Jim F says, but Texas is building an SEC team and they're loaded, but Bama all the way. This is a good sidelight conversation. How many years does it take for Texas and Oklahoma to even challenge for one of the divisions in the SEC? Not win it, just challenge.
I think they'll challenge. I think that they're already good enough to challenge. It's just
okay.
I don't know. I would say at least 5.
I think it's going to take a little bit.
Yeah.
Remember though, they're in the West, and
right.
And LSU didn't look that great. I think that this Texas team could beat that team. I think the only thing that they're really lacking in the West on most years right now is Alabama. So in that case, I think they're already a challenger.
Right. I'm not going to sell out LSU just based off of the first game of the year.
No.
Yeah.
Because Florida State was really, really good.
Yeah,
sure.
It is very, very good. Yes.
But they had some issues. Like they're not what we quite thought. They could still be. I'm just saying.
Right.
I think Texas is in the same ballpark as them.
Ole Miss is very tough.
I think they're a good team.
Hugh Freeze being at Auburn, I think you're going to see Auburn increase quite a bit under Hugh Freeze. So I think it's just going to be a matter of that schedule taking the toll on them. They're going to have to get used to get that callus up, get used to playing these teams week in and week out.
Yeah, I think it's going to take a little bit. Yeah. Jim F says he's a big A&M fan, so he's against Texas no matter what. I'm getting from that. That's very fair.
Jim and I can agree on that. I hate Texas too.
I think this is right. With Bijan Robinson last year, I think Texas was better last year. And they still lost. Well, the refs sort of gave it away. But anyway, let's get through a few more here before we move to the next one. I'm from Texas, but I don't think they beat Bama. Did the SEC drop divisions?
I don't.
Do you know?
I don't think they will.
Okay. All right.
Well, they may have
They
to.
might, but
They may have to. Otherwise, you're looking at 8 teams in a division, 7 games, and they only have an 8-game schedule. So because they haven't moved to more games for the conference schedule, they're basically, if they don't go no divisions, they're basically making 2 conferences.
Right, but you can flex.
Yeah.
They can do flex divisions still.
Sure.
So.
But they haven't determined, though, right?
Right. As far as I know, they have not actually
don't know.
determined how that's going to work.
Yeah. Steve, hi, Florida. Way to get good to see you again, Steve. He says Saban is grouchier than usual. Take Bama. Harry Austin says should be a good game. Would not shock me to see Texas.
Yeah, no kidding.
A quick update. Still KU 7 over Illinois. So it's basically 70-0. That's awesome. Let's see. Any others on that? All right. And we are going to add one more game. I completely forgot about the Cy-Hawk trophy.
Thank you.
So we want to put that in there. So we'll add that. Just put that down at the bottom.
That's great.
You didn't want to cover it because you
No.
don't want to hear the answers, I don't think.
No, I just don't. I actually don't want to. I'm not liking what's happening with it. I'm just going to leave it at that.
All right. Okay. All right. So let's go to the next game. Our next game is Oregon at Texas Tech. What's the spread?
Now, this is good. The spread on this one is only 6 points. Oregon is only favored by 6 points.
Over a Texas Tech team that just lost in a horrible fashion.
Over a Texas Tech team that just lost.
But that's 6 points for the visiting team. So that to me, that's pretty big.
Wait.
I'm taking Oregon all day at 6 points.
But is Oregon giving or receiving points?
No, they're giving. Oregon's
okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
Texas
which means
Tech has 6.
Oregon would have to win by 7 in order to
Right.
And they're going to win by a lot more. They're going to win by a lot more. So I'm taking Oregon. We can.
I picked Texas Tech to be a dark horse in the Big 12, but I rewatched that Tech game. I have ESPN Plus, and so you just rewind it. I got to go Oregon. I'm sorry, Texas Tech fans. I'm definitely in your corner, but I just can't. I mean, Oregon looks tuned up for sure.
Who you got, Moen?
I got Oregon. No,
yeah, he already said
Oregon.
You know what? Just looking at it, I want to agree with you guys, but my heart's telling me no. My heart's telling me that Texas Tech, they damn well better be pissed off about what happened to them.
Them and Baylor
and
BYU.
They are a talented team. Everyone's talking about. I have to go with that because the experts have done more on that than I have to research it. So I'm kind of looking at this going, man, if Texas Tech can't pull this, then they're not worth the talk about them that happened. Because people were talking about them winning that conference, not just, having a good season, but winning the Big 12.
Right.
And I don't think Oregon is as good as people say just because they ran up the score against a nobody by 80 points.
Yeah, Portland State's not a real team.
So that doesn't matter to me. And Texas Tech against Wyoming, that's not the first time Wyoming has pulled some stuff on people, especially at home. So I'm thinking that Texas Tech is coming back, and I'm thinking that Oregon is probably looking past them to some degree because Oregon does that.
So
I'm going Texas Tech.
Okay.
I'm starting to figure out Immaculate's betting strategy here. He goes for he likes the points and definitely rides the emotion level, and I think that's all right.
It's college football. If this was pros, no way would I ride the emotion, but it's college football.
Jim F. says, remember Texas Tech lost at 7,000 feet above sea level. Not sure if that was a factor. It absolutely is a factor. If you've never been to Laramie, which if you haven't missed anything. It is a windswept, just flat. There's nothing more flat than the Wyoming prairie. And it's cold, no matter what the temperature is, and it's at elevation. So I actually would give Texas Tech a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. I just think Oregon's got something to prove.
Yeah, and let me add to that. If anyone's never been in that area, I was born and raised in Iowa, went west enough. Once you hit like western Nebraska, central Nebraska, you will feel like you are in a land that whatever you want to believe in just stopped working. Like if you've ever been in a video game where you're creating something and there's nothing there, like no mountains, no trees, nothing. Like you can see the curvature of the freaking earth.
Yes, that's how flat it is.
It's that flat when you can the earth is curved. It's not flat because it's that flat here that I can tell things aren't that flat. And you go there and you will feel like you are in a alien land.
Yeah, if you have not been there, again, unless you like stark beauty, there's really nothing to be beautiful at this place. So, let's get some comments. We've got a lot of lively conversation going on, and I really appreciate that. So the first thing I want to say is, Mike Smith says, I want Tech to win so bad, but I think Oregon gets the win. Tech gonna win from Jason Spangler. Sorry. Tony Lawson. Oh, he's talking about you guys got one of those D linemen from Minnesota. I'm not sure what that. He's talking about the 5-star that went because he stayed in state. Let's see here. That Wyoming team is spicy. That's interesting. Tony Lawson says, I think Oregon. Harry Austin said, is Bo for real going to lean Ducks? I don't know. He played well last year. I mean, he's not Heisman Trophy good, but
I think Bo is tier 1.5. He's almost there, but he's not on that same tier with those guys. He's got great skill guys around him.
Nathan Campbell says, Oregon, I'm not putting a score. That you weren't required to do a score, Nathan. Nathan Campbell says, Bomber, does BYU play this week? They do. Mm-hmm. They play at home at 3 o'clock Eastern against Southern Utah, which was one possession away from beating ASU last week.
Yeah, asterisk.
Doesn't matter. It's still the score.
That's why I'm not going any different. I'm just saying there's an asterisk to that.
Let's see here. Well, tell everybody what the asterisk is.
Oh, the fact that game was delayed for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and
but
ended
both
up being
teams
played.
Were delayed though.
I understand that, and both teams did not look all that great in the second half, but they were playing much more even in the second half than they were in the first half. The first half was pretty ASU dominant.
Okay. Steve O. Florida says, Joey McGuire said all things run through Lubbock. Oregon will run through Lubbock fast and furious.
Fast and furious.
That's good.
I agree.
I like that. That's good, Steve. Let's
Pretty
see. If there's any others. Jason Spangler says Southern Utah. Yeah, that's who we're talking about. Southern Utah, they only lost by 7 to ASU, and they were behind part of the game. If they would have not turned the ball over, they could have won the game.
How about that comment from the coach saying, he said something about BYU that they play grown man football compared to ASU or something.
They did say that.
That is a lot of trash to talk for a guy that lost.
Right. I thought that was quite interesting.
Spicy stuff. There must have been some words shared down on that field or in the locker rooms or whatever during that time off.
I think it's hilarious myself. All right. So did you get all 3 picks?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Appreciate everybody's feedback on that one. That was a great game to go over. Now let's go to Nebraska at Colorado. I'll go first on this one.
Do you want to know the lines?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Yes, please.
Okay, so now Vegas has caught up. This morning when I checked, this line was 3. Now this line is 3.5 favoring Colorado.
3.5?
People are putting a lot of action on Colorado, so they're bumping the line up by 0.5 point.
So Nebraska gets 3 points?
3.5.
Okay.
Which is more. Right. We're looking at more than a field goal.
Possession. Yeah, that's right. Yep. All right, so I'll do mine since I started to talk first. I think Colorado wins this game. I know there's concerns about depth. There's concerns about really the team last week. Maybe people are saying TCU was overrated. At the end of the day, I thought Shedeur Sanders looked fantastic, and I don't think there's a better DB in the country than Travis Hunter. So I'm going to ride those two guys until they're either hurt or you can see the time spent on the field really makes them tired. And as a bonus, their running back, can't remember what was it, his last name Williams? Anyway, he got 3 touchdowns last week too. So it's not an empty backfield. There are depth issues on the offensive and defensive lines, but I just think Shedeur Sanders is mobile enough that he'll get around any major rush. So that's my guess.
Go Colorado. What you got, Moen?
I'm taking Nebraska.
Nice.
I think Colorado wins, but I think Colorado wins by a field goal. I think it's going to be
okay.
Coming down to the last position. Yeah, I don't see this being a high-scoring game.
So you think that Nebraska offense will do a pretty good job of controlling things?
Yeah, I think they're going to eat up the clock a lot. I think you're probably going to have a score 17-20. Yeah. So I like Nebraska. Give me the points in Nebraska. I'll take the points.
All right. Well, me personally, I'm going Colorado. I have a hard time right now going against them on this, just because I do think that they are going to run the points. I was so impressed by Shador and quite frankly, I think the Tech pressure that they're putting on him is better than people are giving them credit for. Right. I saw plenty of times they got in there, and Shador is an expert at just sidestep and throw. So I don't think that Nebraska is going to bring anything in that regard that's better than what Tech did. The big question mark for me is Colorado's defense getting Nebraska off the field if Nebraska just goes heavy run. And to do that, I think that they can definitely do it, because you may only need some penalties to happen to make that happen, because I don't think Nebraska is getting anywhere in the air. I am not impressed by their quarterback passing, and Colorado has maybe the best defensive backfield in the country if they can get some of the other guys who didn't play onto the field.
Right.
And I think we may see some surprises in that regard too. Like, there's going to be some more guys playing this week that didn't play last week. So I do think Colorado can win this by more than 3 points. I don't think that they're going to score as many as they did against TCU. I would go maybe like 27 or so, but I think that Nebraska will probably be down more along the lines of 10 or 14 points. So I think that Colorado has this one in hand.
Okay. Let's see here. Jason Spangler says Illinois is falling apart. Then right away, I see another score update, and it's 14-0 Kansas. So I would have picked Kansas straight up. I think they're a good team. They got off to a slow start last week. So let's get through some picks in here. Let's see here. Harry Austin says Colorado rolls. CU wins by 10+. Wow. That would be a lot of points for sure.
Yep, I agree with him.
And it helps that it's his Homer school. I like that. Vote Homer. Vote Homer. I love it. Tony Lawson says Nebraska will win. Minnesota is a great team. Go for Kool-Aid. Drinkers unite. I actually think Minnesota is a good team. So let's see here. Steve-O's says Nebraska will do the Nebraska thing and figure out how to lose by 4.
He's got good
picks. You're probably right. That's probably accurate.
Why are we thinking all of a sudden they'll lose better?
On 2 safeties? It'll be 2 safeties as well.
Dude, it is going to be wild at Folsom Field too. Like that is going to be a wild crowd. Like that's tough going in there.
Again, Jason Spangler says Nebraska just doesn't have good players. They're probably nice guys, not good at football. Yeah, I don't know if they're nice guys. They definitely, I think they're a year or 2 away, in my opinion. Yeah. P.S. Doff, good to see you here, Doff. Nebraska has the excitement of a new coach without having a new team. Yeah, that's kind of what my thought would be about it. Steve O says, have Greg's Illinois Kansas watch party on another screen. He isn't having a magical evening thus far.
Well, did he take Illinois?
Yeah, I'm sure he took Illinois.
Yeah, sorry, Greg. That wasn't a good pick. Hey, look at that guy.
This comment from you, Immaculate. Nebraska has strong lines on both sides, but they just don't have enough to keep up with Colorado, and that's where my thinking goes as well. Nathan again says, how many yards does the quarterback brother get? Talking about Shador?
Yeah, because the 2 brothers that are there.
Okay. Yeah, I think.
Oh, okay. I got it. Yeah.
I think he throws for 450.
Oh, no.
Yep.
No way.
Nebraska has a better defensive backfield, I think, than TCU.
Yeah, they're not TCU. I mean,
their defense isn't terrible.
So how does he do then?
Like about 300-ish.
Yeah, I'd say 270, somewhere in there.
300s, yep.
Tony Lawson says Nebraska needs to run the ball 50 times.
He's not wrong.
If that happens,
but that's why they're screwed though too, because if they get penalties, they're backed up and they can't do anything.
Yeah, but he's right though. If they run it 50 times, that means they've won the game, and they've kept the score low, and Shadur's been very limited on possessions.
All right,
So that's
fair.
how you beat them for sure.
That's the formula.
Yeah, that's what you say.
There's another Sanders. There's a DB Sanders
who led the team in tackles just last week as well.
Did he? I didn't know that.
10 tackles, 9 solo. He was
okay.
Someone else had 10, but they only had 7 solo. So technically, Shiloh won.
All right. Before we move on to the next game, I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. We're 21 people, which is more than I thought we'd have on an early Friday evening. I appreciate you guys being here, and this means a lot to us. We're going to make this a weekly thing, so this is going to be one of those appointments. Just put it on your phone, turn on your notifications, subscribe, and we'll be here every Friday evening. So hopefully everybody gets used to this. Habits really work. Oop, that was an accident. Just 1 second. Sorry. Nothing secret there, just a bunch of addresses that does nobody any good. All right, here we go. That's what I was trying to get. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, turn on your new notifications. If you want your comment to be guaranteed read, make it a super chat. If you want us to talk about it more, make it a super chat or become a member. And those are always highlighted to me as well. Okay, next game, Texas A&M at Miami.
Yes, Texas A&M is favored by 3.5. And I will take Texas A&M.
Okay, Immaculate.
How many? 3.5 for Texas?
3.5. 3.5.
Yeah, I think of previous seasons and what's gone wrong with them and everything, and Miami is getting much better in terms of recruits. But if Texas A&M plays to their potential, 3.5 is probably not anywhere near enough to cover for this, and some great home advantage.
No, they don't at all.
So I got to go Texas A&M as well.
I'll take Texas A&M and the points one way or the other. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah,
I think last year was an aberration.
Yeah.
They should be a perennial 8-win team every year, and last year just was bad. Let's see here. Jim F says A&M is loaded, deep, and healthy, and he has a 5-star QB. So
yeah, I mean, at some point the talent's got to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's not like he can't coach, right?
And I mean, it's not. Miami can't even fill their own stadium.
Yeah.
I mean, as bad as Texas A&M is, they're always sold out.
Absolutely.
And A&M's going to come in there, and if it's quiet, they're just going to be. I mean, they're going to find that rather amusing, considering what they play at home.
Jim F says A&M probably averaged 30 kids out last year with injury. Really?
Oh, yeah, and Jim makes a really good point here coming up. You'll see.
Tony Lawson says Miami's fan support is bad. They need to get it going. Jim F says, and remember, the best class of all time is now a sophomore. Well, those that didn't transfer. They lost a bunch in the transfer portal, something like 22 or 23 players. So Steve O says, I want the line on that.
Yep.
At which point of the game that Petrino calls Jimbo to stick it.
Both Steve and Jim nailing it right there. Bobby Petrino, I think this is the difference in this. Just let him run that offense. If they do, I think that they'll kick it in gear. Petrino's a pretty good mind for offense.
I check, and they don't have that on the prop bet. So that's not one of the prop bets for that game, Steve. Sorry.
Nice.
I'm not seeing a lot of predictions. I'm seeing a lot of commentary over there, but not a lot of predictions. If you want to predict the game, now's the time to do it. Bobby calling plays. 30 are still there, so of the freshman class. Tony says, I like A&M. And Nathan says A&M by touchdown. So did we all take A&M?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's a safe bet.
Yeah.
Jim F says they have 5 healthy tight ends and 6 running backs. That is crazy.
Do you want to finish with BYU, or do you want to do the ASU Oklahoma State one?
We'll do ASU, and then we'll do Iowa,
and then BYU. Okay.
And then we'll do BYU, and then
you remembered that one. All right, good on you.
Yeah. So let's. So what did we just say? This is the next one then.
ASU Oklahoma State.
ASU Oklahoma State. It's in Oklahoma. ASU did not look good last week.
It's at Tempe.
Oh, I'm sorry. I saw they were at home. I apologize.
Nope, all good.
So they're in Tempe, Arizona. So that's a home game for ASU.
And it's warm here right now.
Yeah, whether a lot of people go or not, we can't tell. But yeah, so Arizona State is at home. Barely beat SUU last week, and Oklahoma State obviously lost their game.
Yep.
All right.
I guess I'll start on this one. Personally,
sure.
I'm a little worried as to what the turnout's going to be. For some damn reason, the administration there can't get out of their own way, and they decided that the second game of the year would be a good time to do a blackout in Tempe
when it's 100 degrees.
Like people here are pretty tough, and they're going to go, but they're not. I don't think they get the full house. And once again, this is a situation where the team that's coming in is used to playing with the full house, a very rowdy full house. So when you go into a place and they can't even get a loud, rowdy crowd going, I think that kind of boosts the incoming team. So what's our spread on this? Do you know, Moen?
3.5.
For
Oklahoma State.
Yeah, I'm going Oklahoma State. I don't want to go against ASU just as the local team, but I don't think that they're ready yet. I think that they are going to be a good team by the end of the year. So I'm going to have to take Oklahoma State because I'm getting the points with Oklahoma State, right?
Yes, yeah. Oklahoma State is favored, so Oklahoma State has to win by. No, Oklahoma State's favored. You don't get the points. You're giving points.
I'm still going with them. I'm still going with Oklahoma State.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to go with Oklahoma State as well. I think Van Gundy's going to bounce back this year. So,
it's a good bounce back game. I mean, it's gonna be a test on them to see how well they do, because right now we're basically on Pacific time here. So, and it's a later game if I'm not mistaken. So that could be the challenge for Oklahoma State to see how well they do. And Arizona State's already had some practice in this, considering the last one was so late. So I could be wrong on this because of that.
It's a 10:30 start time for, I think, East Coast. That must be, I don't know.
10:30 Eastern?
Late?
I believe so, yeah.
Oof, I might be wrong on that one.
So let me make sure, is that AM or PM?
PM.
Okay.
So it'd be 7:30 local time.
Oklahoma, all day, twice on Sunday.
State? Okay.
Yeah.
We'll just keep with that, but I'm just saying I might be wrong.
Let's get to a few scores here. Everybody's kind of talking about Harry Austin and for Texas A&M, he had them by 7, and then one other on this. But Miami has a buy one get one ticket promotion. Things aren't good. Yeah, that's pretty. San Diego State did the same thing, by the way. Let's see here. Tony Lawson says, "Give me the Cowboys." Moen, you're talking to somebody else there. Okay. Harry Austin says, "Give me OKC." Let's see. I'm going to go here with Tony Lawson again. Miami needs 30 to 40,000 stadium on campus. Yeah, nobody disagrees with that. Put your picks in there, and we'll definitely read them, guys. Who's going to win, Oklahoma State or Arizona State? Steve-O says, Grundy coaches better with the mullet when the mullet is longer, not near long enough. So if they only win, let's say a nightmare scenario happens and they only win 5 games, does Mike Gundy get fired?
No.
No, it's not one of those places where it's like if it was somewhere else, maybe, but who are you going to get to replace him? Are you going to do better?
These are great questions.
Yeah, because it's kind of like here at Iowa. It's like, okay, even if you have a down year, do we really want to throw everything in haywire in order to get someone else that may not be better? So
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think you kind of security at a place like that actually means something for those recruits.
We got Wild Utes finally made it in. How you doing, Wild
There
Utes?
he is.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Good.
We got to catch him up.
You can quickly do that. Run them through really quick.
Okay. We got 5 games that we've picked already.
And we're going by the over-under.
And so I'll need Moen maybe to repeat the over-under. First one is the Texas versus Alabama. And what was it, 6 for Alabama, Moen?
Hold on a second. Let me find that game again.
-6 for them.
7.
-7 on Alabama. So Texas is getting a slight favor on it. It's in Alabama, and it's an afternoon game.
Oh, that's a no-brainer. This is going to be Alabama.
Okay, that's
Alabama. So this game, I'm not sure how many Texas quarterbacks are going to make it in this game. Seriously, it's going to be a really physical game, I think. And Bama's waiting for this one. Listen to some pregame stuff on this game, and their fans are juiced for this game in particular. I just see it being one of those games where Bama gets up early, runs the ball, makes it physical, gets to the quarterback, wins the trenches. So I just see Bama winning by 14 plus in this game. If Ewers has just a game of his life, I think they can keep it close, but I just don't really see that happening. I see Bama getting to Ewers, and they're really getting ugly for the Longhorns.
And also, for folks to remember, just for an amusing part of this, watch the upper stands to look for the Texas marching band, because Alabama is not giving them a close-up spot on the field. So you may see them up in the nosebleeds at Alabama, and so their effect will be less. The next one.
Get this, guys. Get this, though. Texas actually has more NFL talent on the roster than Bama right now.
Yeah, but, well, I mean, that's
according to scouts, right? Like
Projected.
this Texas team is really, really talented. But, I think Bama, this is just a game that they've been circling for a while. Their fans are juiced. I think it's going to be nuts at the old Bryant-Denny. And I just don't see Texas keeping it close.
Oh, yeah. I was the same way on that one.
All right.
Next one, it was the Oregon versus Texas Tech. At Texas Tech, the line was Moen?
Oregon favored by 6.
And the kickoff is 10:30 Eastern.
Oh,
No,
No. That's ASU.
It's
I'm sorry. I
Yeah,
apologize.
it's 7 o'clock Eastern for this game.
7. Okay.
It's 7 o'clock.
I say here for this game's going to get a little weird. It is going to be high scoring, but I think that some magic's going to happen in Lubbock. I think Texas Tech is in a shootout all game long versus Oregon. Something happens. I don't know if it's Bo Nix is going to turn it over. Something weird's going to happen in the 4th. I think Texas Tech scoots by close, like 1 to 3 points close in a complete shootout, kind of akin to that TCU game versus Colorado last week. I think Texas Tech's just got a little magic in the tank. I don't think they're nearly as bad as we've made them out to be because of the loss at Laramie, Wyoming. We know how weird a place that is to play in. It's just the craziest. It's like, seriously, it's like the upside down there. It's weird. So, I'm throwing that game out. Texas Tech, I think they get it done versus Oregon.
It's like he listened to our conversation about them.
Yep.
So the spread says 6.5 for Oregon.
Yeah.
6.
Well,
6. Yeah.
I'm going
6.5.
Texas Tech straight up on that.
Yep.
Texas
Okay.
Tech
So
straight up.
it's me and Newt. It's me and Newt against you guys. Two Oregons versus 2 Techs.
I would hit the casino and put some money on that because you're getting 228.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be a good bet to take if you really truly believe in Tech, folks.
If you believe it in straight up.
All right. Let's move
next
to
one.
Nebraska at Colorado.
What you got?
Oh, yes. Oh, the Colorado hype train, has just reached this fever pitch. And as you guys know, I'm just kind of fed up with it. We're at game 1. I'm fed up with it. And it's just the craziest thing in the world how people think that Colorado is going to make this run. They're now a Pac12 contender. You guys, this team has no depth. They got elite high-end talent. they've got their best players playing over 120 snaps a game. Give me a freaking break about this. There's no chance that this Colorado team makes it healthy throughout this whole season. And I think that this is the first game we're going to see. Colorado's going to score. They're going to be explosive. Their running backs super explosive. And I just see them really struggling. I think Nebraska wins the trenches in this game, slows the game down, and I think they play bully ball versus Colorado. It's the first chink in the armor that you see versus Colorado. I do think this game's going to be really, really close. I don't think that Nebraska is going to run away with it. I don't think Colorado's going to run away with it. But I do see Nebraska squeaking this one out by 3 to 7 points.
Okay. All right. That's
All right.
one more where we're split in half.
That's a noon Eastern kickoff. So it's Fox Premier, and as long as they're in prime time is gonna carry them. But that's just my opinion.
Got Mullen and Phillips standing with Nebraska on that one. So
yeah, Nebraska. I mean, I like that so much that I'm thinking about just getting in on that tonight. I just don't. I'm not a believer in this Colorado team. Like, I'm a believer in the top end talent, where they've got 6, 7 good players, like great players, like NFL players and stuff. But like guys, I wish we could pull up the roster and just look at how bad it is second and third levels.
We'll have to make sure to not send you for the press conference with Dion, because he's going to ask you if you believe, and you're going to say no, and he's going to ignore you. Okay. I'll have to remember that.
Well, I mean, you can look at it from this way, guys. The money line on that is only 126. So, I mean, this is one where the casinos really are trying to dissuade people from putting money on Nebraska. Take that for what it's worth.
Didn't Nebraska come as the original favorite in the casinos, and the money went on Colorado?
That's what I said, telling them earlier. The line earlier I had seen yesterday, it was 2.5. This morning it was 3. Then they bumped it to 3.5. So obviously there's been a lot of action on Colorado, but they're also keeping the money line low on Nebraska, which means they don't want anybody taking Nebraska either. So this is pretty much a pick 'em. The casino's considering a pick 'em.
Let's move to the next one. I got to be done in 20 minutes. So
sure.
Okay, so A&M versus Miami. Yeah. What was the odds on that one again?
That is 3.5 for Texas. A&M is favored by 3.5.
Oh man! Go ahead, Mac, if you haven't picked.
We've already picked
this. Yeah, so A&M and Miami here. I'm taking A&M. I'm taking A&M. I just think that there's enough talent on this A&M team that's been left over from the last couple of years that they're actually doing something. Bobby Petrino was a huge deal, getting him as the offensive coordinator. I think Jimbo and Bobby work okay together. As long as you leave women, alcohol, and motorcycles away from Petrino, I think that you're going to be fine. And really, this A&M team, I think, could be a surprise in the SEC this year. I think that they can move up quick. I think they win this game. Don't think they win it big, though. I think I can see like a touchdown type win, anywhere from really 6 to, like a 6-7 point win. I'm thinking for A&M in this game. I mean, Miami has no home field advantage. We all know that anyway. They can't even sell out any stadium they play in, which is the most perplexing thing ever. How can such a large brand not sell out their games? Is it because the games aren't in the same thing? Nope. Right?
It's not really a home advantage. So
no,
they're playing a Hard Rock, but it's way far away from the campus and stuff. That's what the the chatter is and everything. Yeah. So that's why the Miami fans don't show up. But I'm not really buying that. I think they've just got a fickle fan base and stuff. If they start winning a bunch, maybe they'll show and everything.
So who do you pick then?
You pick
A&M. Okay.
The other one to catch you up with us is Oklahoma State at Arizona State. Going to be a hot one. And it is a late start, 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 local.
I'm taking Oklahoma State in this game because of the inexperience of Arizona State. Rashada is going to be a star.
Yeah, he is. He's good.
He is going to be a star. And Dillingham, I like Dillingham too, but they're just not there yet. I think Oklahoma State has probably even level talent as ASU, more experience with Gundy. Okay. And I mean, there's quarterback problems right now though at Oklahoma State. And like and really Spencer Sanders leaving the program and not playing at Ole Miss, like what the heck? Like what was he doing?
Going to Ole Miss to sit behind Dart.
What in the world was he doing? Like, I mean, seriously, this Oklahoma State team is a little head scratcher, like, and so they played, I think the guy's named Rangel, right? Like played a lot of their snaps, but they played some other guys at QB. I think that Oklahoma State just gets it done based on like just the experience level. I don't think they're more talented though, as per se.
Well, we're all in agreement on that one, so that'll take us now to the point where
we want to do.
I think you guys want to do the Utah and the BYU games, right?
Right. They'll be the last two. We want to get just quickly.
Don't forget the Cyhawk.
Yeah, let's go through the Cyhawk really quick.
Almost got it.
Yeah, Immaculate. Tell everybody, including myself, what the heck's going on at Iowa State with this gambling thing that's going on.
I think the same thing that's going on everywhere else in the country. Just for some reason, somehow, someone put up the people in the state of Iowa who regulate this to actually go and do their jobs. Imagine that. Someone from Iowa does their jobs compared to everyone else. And no one else has done this. But they've already made kind of some deals. So some guys are getting off now. I think there was a lot of heat that came on them for how many they went into and how no one else around the country did this. So it's becoming less of a deal than it was. But basically, guys were gambling on games they were playing in.
Yeah.
So they got some people out, but in large part, it's Iowa versus Iowa State. I mean, it's not like they got like super studs that are on the field that they don't have someone behind them who's relatively.
Iowa is favored by 3.5 in that game.
Oh God, that means that's, and for anyone who doesn't know, that's a lot.
I am taking.
Well, if it's
Iowa,
more than a field goal,
write it
for Iowa
it's more than a
State.
field goal.
Yeah,
I'm taking Iowa State.
I'm taking Iowa State as well.
God, you guys are so dirty.
I'm taking Iowa in this game.
Thank you.
I'm taking Iowa just because the defense is always nasty. It's going to be nasty, and like it's going to be low scoring. It's going to be like what, a 5-3 game? It's going to be real low scoring. I think it's like maybe
if it's 5-3, Iowa State wins that bet.
Right.
Seriously, like Iowa State, like the starting QB's out, right? Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, he's in a jail cell somewhere.
Exactly. So I mean, like this game's going to be low scoring.
They came up with a plea bargain, so I don't think he's in a jail. So I think he.
No, I'm teasing.
Is he on the field though? Is he going to be on the
no,
field?
he's not playing.
He's probably not ready. Like it just came out this week, so he's probably not ready.
Steve says I want the under.
Seriously, Steve.
You would think so, but what is the over under?
36.5.
Oh my goodness, 36.5.
That might be an auto bet
take
right
the
there.
Under. That's crazy.
That's got to be one of the lowest lines I've ever heard.
Derek's late to the show here. He says he takes Colorado and then Oklahoma State. Wanted to get everybody caught up. Yep. Thank you, Derek. Great to see you here. Appreciate you being here tonight.
Absolutely.
All right. So are we done?
Let's get to the SUU and BYU.
Didn't Immaculate? Immaculate has to do his.
I'm going Iowa. I think that they pulled their quarterback in the first game so early for a reason. I don't think he looked that injured. He looked like he was having a little bit of trouble moving, but I think they pulled him out just to not stress it any further. I mean, otherwise, why do you put your fourth-string punter in as your second-string quarterback? And that's a joke. He's not actually that. He just looked like it. So I think that he's actually going to be better off in this game than people think, just because they didn't stress him too much in the last game. And I do think it'll be a low-scoring game, but I do think that Iowa's offense is actually better than Iowa State's, and I think their defenses are comparable. So I'd say Iowa takes it.
All right, next one, and we're gonna rotate BYU and UAU, whoever goes last, every week. So this week we're gonna have Utah be last. So let's quickly do BYU, SUU. What's the spread? Is it 14?
There is no spread. Nobody's taking action on it.
Yeah. Okay. It's BYU.
So I think everybody can agree that it's BYU.
Yeah.
I think
SUU is going to be good.
I think BYU wins this game. I do think SU is a decent team. I think it's going to be
Yes.
fairly close. Bomber, I'm curious about how you see this game going.
I think BYU wins by more than 14 points. I think you could see a 28-13 type game. But everybody's calling for like a 42-point outburst. I don't see that. So I think they win, but they only win by a couple touchdowns. That's my guess.
Gotcha. Yep, I'm with the BYU too. Say over a 10-point win here. So I think SU keeps it close in the first quarter. Then it starts.
Right.
BYU wears them down.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think BYU is going to win it for more than people think. I think the only reason ASU didn't beat Southern for more than what they did was because of the way the second half went down. And BYU is not going to have that problem. So I do believe that BYU has something to prove, and they've got Southern Utah to prove it against. So I think that BYU is going to score more than people expect.
Okay.
BYU big.
Yeah, I agree. BYU big.
Okay. Definitely BYU's got a chip. So if they have the ability to open up the offense, they definitely will. Derek Rochette says, great to have you here, Derek. BYU by 21. So I know BYU wants to score a bunch of points. They need to earn some respect back a little bit.
Wow, that KU score.
KU is up 21-0.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I knew Kansas was going to win that.
They might be for real. If that quarterback can stay healthy this year, they might be for real.
Yeah.
Illinois is.
Hey, Jason, Jay Wilson. Hey, Jay Wilson, got Tech over the Ducks, so FYI, the Red Raiders.
Yep, we're split. Two of us are for Tech over Oregon, so we'll see.
All right, let's get to the feature matchup, which is UEU at Baylor.
Man, I've been trying to get some trash talk going all freaking week with the Baylor fans, and nothing, guys.
Yeah,
nothing.
I've made comments about it, and all I got was crickets too.
Seriously, I know you did. We tried and tried. It's just,
well, I'm supporting Baylor. I'm actually trying to give them support, and it's crazy.
I don't get it at all. I mean, it seems like
you got to have some faith to talk trash, and right now, I don't think that there's a whole lot of faith in Baylor. With the Baylor faithful.
I think you just nailed it. So in this game, what to expect, how the Utes are going to attack Baylor. So Baylor's offensive line is really, really struggling right now. In the right side of their offensive line, they've got some newbies and just not a lot of talent there. So I think the Utes are just going to absolutely win in the trenches in this game. I think the Utes are going to really blitz the right side of their offensive line. You're looking at a 5+ sack game with the Utes defense.
What is the over/under? I didn't hear.
7.5. Well, yeah, I don't know what the over/under. 7.5.
The spread is 7.5. The line.
Sorry, not over/under.
That is crazy that it's only 7.5. I mean, you take Utah on that spread all day.
Here's the thing, guys. Okay, so as a Ute fan and everything, Utah sometimes can play down to their opponents. I'm not saying it's going to happen in this game. This happened before. And Utah's played really close games and games they should just totally annihilate the other team, especially on the road. Utah struggled on the road. I don't think that that's going to happen in this case, but there might be some of that history coming into play here. Hey, Utah's not been good on the road. It's an early game. It's a hot game. But the thing is, if you look really at the matchups, Utah is basically better than Baylor almost at every position group, and especially in the trenches. So I just don't see the Utes losing in the trenches in this game. In the first quarter, it's going to be really telling. I think that whoever wins the trenches, both in the offensive defensive line, I'm expecting the Utes to dominate the trenches. And as long as they can do that and get pressure continuously on the new quarterback Sawyer, this is going to be, I think, his first start. He was a good recruit at Texas, Gatorade Player of the Year a couple of years ago at Texas, Baylor's backup. But he transferred from Mississippi State, Mike Leach. And he's got some arm talent. He's got some athleticism, but he just doesn't have a lot of experience. I expect a lot of pressure. Expect turnovers. Expect that too. So, but
is
I think
he a redshirt sophomore?
I do not know.
Okay, because I've never heard of him. That's why I'm asking.
I hadn't actually before. I've just been studying up on the Bears a little bit. He's got some arm talent stuff. Watched a little bit of him and everything, but I don't know his seniority in this game. But really, I think that pressure is going to be the key. I think that Utes win the line of scrimmage again. And I think that it stays close in the first quarter. I think over the course of the game, kind of like with the Cougars, is just going to dominate over SUU. I think the Utes do the same thing over Baylor, and they get that win. I'm at 31-13 in this game.
Okay.
So I feel a little more comfortable than a couple days ago based on what I've seen and everything. But guys, I mean, this is college football. Anything can happen. Utes,
Right.
sometimes they got to show up to win this game. If they don't show up, they can lose it for sure. But if they show up even without Cam Rising, I don't know if you guys saw what happened to the backup running back.
No, what happened? Tell us.
Okay, so the starting running back got hurt in the Florida game, but the backup running back, Mekhi Bernard.
Oh, he's hurt too?
He got hurt.
I didn't know that.
He got hurt either yesterday or the day before. And
oh my hell!
At least like in the social media verse and stuff, they've kept it real quiet and stuff. But the rumor is that he was riding a scooter and he crashed.
Oh, jeez.
And so he might be out for multiple weeks, possibly the season.
Multiple weeks for a scooter crash?
Season?
Guys, what the smoke is, at least that there might be some bone issue here. I don't know what the bone issue is.
Oh my gosh!
Hey, this isn't reporting anything. This is just smoke from here and there. That's just what the talk's been. But he's out this game for sure. I don't know when he's going to be back. If it's the season. So Mekhi Bernard. So the Utes are on their third string quarterback and their third string.
That's crazy.
And you know what? It doesn't even matter to me.
Right, and that's the thing is they should
It's
still
Utah.
dominate.
It's Whittingham. Yeah.
It's crazy.
I
think they've got depth.
I'm gonna take Baylor in the points.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay.
Well,
What's the reasoning, Bomber? What's
the depth at running back, the depth at quarterback.
Look what you just did. You talked him into it.
No, I was going to pick him anyway because of the
really?
quarterback depth. I didn't know about the running back depth.
Yeah, Jaquinton Jackson's probably not going this game. He's a starting running back. He got hurt versus Florida, so he's out. And
Yeah,
Bernard's out. But they're honestly, running back's the best position group at Utah. They're 6 deep with really 4-star kids. I'm not worried about this.
Okay.
It's going to be okay. And I think that the trenches, though, the offensive defensive line got more healthy, and I think that's going to be the key to this game. You're going to see it early to see if the Utes are going to take control of this. If they don't win the trenches early, I'm going to be biting my fingernails, though, guys.
All right, Moen.
I'm taking Utah big.
Okay. Very well could happen. I'm not saying it couldn't happen. Believe me. Let's get some comments in here. First of all, tough for me to decide on BYU or Utah games. Not enough info since I have blocked both fans from both programs, except for me and Philip. Thank you. I take that as a compliment,
Thanks,
Steve.
Steve. Appreciate it.
And then Derek says, Sawyer Robertson sounds like a great dude and a great player. I'm rooting for his success, but not against Utah. The humid heat hurt Utah quite a bit at Florida last year. I didn't say environment, but I also think that the environment's going to be a thing for sure.
Are they going to show, you think, tomorrow? I wonder if it's going to be a sellout.
Well, someone was just saying that the tickets as low as $2 on ESPN.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
I don't know.
That sounds like a whole lot of people there who do not have faith in that team.
Which is crazy because Utah's a ranked team.
And Baylor generally has great following. So
right.
I think this is on the head coach. I think that he's hot seat this year.
Randa's, if he
I
loses,
think he is. I think he is.
So hot seat. If they can't sell out that place, he's gone.
Yeah, I think. All right, let's get to a few more here. What's the weather like? Anybody know? I heard it was going to be very, very hot.
Very hot, very similar to the swamp last year in Gainesville for the Utes.
Probably not quite the humidity, but they do have humidity there.
Yeah, he said 40%. That's not anywhere near like Florida, but it'll be warm.
Derek says last year I think it'll count for something in Texas, but probably not enough. Yeah. Quickly, we'll get to a few more here. Steve-O says, think Greg will ask Little General to get him a beer and a shot. He took Illinois. Yikes.
I tell you, where's the Big Ten? Yeah, the Big Ten.
Big Ten has not had a good showing.
No,
it hasn't. There's a cold front moving in through Minnesota. That's funny. That's funny, Tony. Temperatures dropping fast.
Yeah, the cooler.
And then Harry Austin. By the way, Harry Austin's another brand new subscriber, not subscriber, but member.
What's up, Harry?
Ute. So yeah,
Hey.
that's really, really good. It's going to be hot. Texas is setting record high for temps still. And Illinois scored. There's
There
the
we
latest
go.
update from
The
Harry.
Illini, they're fighting back a little
Oh.
bit.
All right.
There you go, Bert.
Hey, go Big 12. That's what I'm talking about. I'm rooting
Yeah,
for the Big 12
there
guys.
you go.
I'm a Big 12 guy now.
So I have to be done now. If you guys want to keep the show going, that's totally up to you. But I got a jet. I told my wife I wouldn't go late tonight.
Yeah, let's
So-
shut it down.
Okay, let's do that. We appreciate everybody being here. I can't believe 20 people on a Friday night before football games. That's amazing, guys. Don't let anybody fool you. That is really, really cool that you're here with us, and we really appreciate your time.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, we'll see the games tomorrow. Expect wins by Utah and BYU. And I think that the Pac-12 has a good day. I'm curious. Last thought, I'm curious about this Cal and Auburn game. Oh, you wouldn't think to give a Cal a shot, but ESPN FPI has Cal winning the game. So that's what the rumor
Wow.
says. So I don't know. It would have seemed like the craziest thing ever if Cal upset Auburn. But I mean, that might be the kind of year the Pac-12 is going to put.
It is a long trip for those guys, but the idea of Cal beating Auburn is kind of.
I need to corroborate that. Yeah. I mean, that's
Devil
what I heard.
Devil Frog says Bomber has to go catch the new Barbie movie. I watched that last weekend, so I'm not.
He's going
watching
back
this
second
weekend.
time.
He's going back.
I did not watch the Barbie movie.
You want seconds on that?
I do not. I would never watch that show. So, Derek says, "Great show, guys." Tony says, "Great show." Boy, these are awesome. How about you, Moen? Any last words?
Yeah. Go make fun of Greg on his show for picking Illinois.
He loves that. He absolutely loves that.
Yeah, for
Tell
sure.
him to tune into our show if he wants to see how you pick against the spread.
There you go.
I can't wait to see how we actually do with this.
I will be curious to see how we do. It'll be fun. Next Friday, count it. We will be here about the same time, 7:30 Eastern. And next Friday, we'll be doing these games.
Are we gonna?
And then on Mondays, we're going to be doing the Holy Rivals,
Right.
where we'll be talking about the previous weekend's games and kind of previewing BYU and Utah going into the next week. So we really hope you guys will continue to follow us here. Please subscribe if you're new to the channel. Give us a thumbs up and leave us a comment, and consider becoming a paying member. Immaculate, did you already state your final word?
Oh no, just gonna say we'd been talking about doing some tonight. I'm thinking I kind of want to go see this Kansas game. I want to go see this guy flinging it.
Yeah, I can do it tonight.
So Monday
Yeah,
we'll look to maybe doing that. But I'm looking forward to seeing how these pan out on Monday when we go over it. So
I'm excited
make
about
sure
it.
and check in with us guys on Monday. We'll go over these, see how well we did, and once again we'll be chatting on X this weekend over some of the realignment issues that are going on, and so my immaculate view on there.
Very good. Anything else you want to say before we go?
Go Utes. Go Nebraska Cornhuskers.
And
beat
I'm going to
the Buffs.
tell everybody peace out.